What's going on, card fighters? Today I have Josh from Team Zero doing a deck profile on his Legion Mega Colony Machining deck.
Alright, thanks for watching, Card Fighters. So, the starter for Mega Colony, most decks anyway, is going to be Mega Colony Battler C. They don't really have much else at starting Vanguard that's worth a hoot. On boost, if the attack hits a Vanguard, you counterblast one of any, you move him to Soul, and you paralyze or stun a unit. I like to go for, back boosters, especially the starting Vanguard a lot of times against Kagaros, Narakamis. They have those on-hit effects that allow them to retire, and it's just good to keep that thing down if it can't boost. On to grade 3s, we're going to start off with Machining Tarantula Mark II. It's kind of the main Legion card of the deck, or the only Legion card of the deck, should I say. What he allows you to do is, at the cost of one counterblast, when his drive check reveals him or the mate unit, you counterblast one and you stun or paralyze the Vanguard, your opponent's Vanguard, not allowing it to stand at next turn unless they rewrite it. Its secondary skill, which I think is actually its kind of stronger skill, or at least it feeds the engine of how this plays, is it Soul Blasts 2 machining units and allows you to stun anything on your opponent's side of the field, sans the Vanguard. And that allows you to, after you've Legion once, if you ride anything else, if you ride another Legion unit, you get the mate and the grade 3 unit out back in the deck as you re-Legion. And as the deck thins out, you start really increasing your chance to keep your opponent's unit down. Again, this deck is very undersupported, kind of underpowered. It's a lot of fun, but, not much can be said about the underappreciated decks. I run 2 War Sickles. I would probably bump this up a little higher to maybe 3 or 4. It's a little heavy in the counterblast cost department. Mind the different sleeves, one matte, one regular. The War Sickle allows you to stun the Vanguard if the attack's not hit. If the attack does not hit, at the cost of a 2 counterblast of any. And then when it's placed, you can counterblast 1, and you can pull out a machining. I believe it's a machining unit from Soul. You have to special counterblast 1 machining unit to pull out a Mega Colony unit from Soul and call it to the field at rest, which combos off a lot of your put-and-play stun effects that most of your grade 2s have, or maybe a pitch draw effect. I like to run, I'm torn because I just love the Break Ride in this deck. It's non-machining, it paralyzes your opponent's entire field, and it gives the Vanguard 10k. And it paralyzes the Vanguard, it pretty much free cost. Now, it's not machining, so your 12k and your 10ks are going to lose their effects, plus any other, put-and-play effects you have. Like I said, kind of a waste when you break right off of him, and I guess it does miss a lot, break right off of the Legion. Since you already get the stun, if they block, it doesn't matter. They're not going to, you're not going to waste the counterblast to stun it twice. I think War Sickles are the better choice. I just don't have them. So on to grade 2s. Again, as far as tech goes, there's not a lot to the deck. These are your 4 12Ks, your Machining Red Red Soldier, sorry. 12K attacker as long as you have a machining on Vanguard Circle, which you pretty much always will. Not much can be said about 12Ks. Everybody knows their point. The other grade 2, you run 4 of your Legion mate, Machining Hornet Mark II. Skill of when put in play, if you're at Legion, you paralyze 1 unit. Again, just kind of basic 9k. I like to, when paralyzing things with this deck, you play a little slower, you play a little more control. You stun the back row units and let your rear guards pick off the front row. Just kind of stressing your opponent's hand and making their attacks when they get them pretty weak. As far as my 3 grade 2s, I like to go Machining Papilio. It's an 8k body, the biggest problem with it. However, it stuns when put in play. So again, your early pressure, you can make those attacks kind of weak. It's good, but I'm not using it to really necessarily bank on hitting the Vanguard. Again, I like to pick off rear guard and try to stun the back row most I can. A couple other grade 2s you could run, and there's no reason not to, would be Machining Tarantula. Machining Tarantula on hit, if you counterblast 1, you can paralyze a unit, or you can run Machining Armor Beetle. It's a little older, from the older set. Similar effect, you suck 1 Mega Colony Machining unit into Soul when it's put in play, and it stuns another unit. I just don't like the loss in my field, and the counterblast, since there are no unflippers for Mega Colony, are a little too heavy. So I like to go with the sure thing of Papilio. The other grade 2 you could do is a Machining Mantis from the older set as well. When it's put in play, if you have a Machining Vanguard, it gains 3k for that turn, so it's a 12k attacker for 1 turn. That's kind of it, just for 1 push, not worth it. On to grade 1s. I run 4 of the Machining Black Soldier. You got Red Soldier, which is your 12k. You got Black Soldier, which is your 10k. Again, Vanguard with Machining, 10k swing, nothing to him. I like to run 3 of Machining Hornet. Now, Machining Hornet's like the 2k, or the grade 2 unit. This unit gains 3k the turn is put in play as long as you have a Machining Vanguard. So it's a 10k swing, but it's also a 10k boost for any unit, so you might be able to just kind of push over the top, get the number you need. Not terrible, but that's kind of all they got. I like to run a couple Machining Caucasus, I don't know how to say his name. It's a 6k boost, which is pretty terrible, so you want it behind the Vanguard only anyway, but on boost hit, it is a free stun. Free paralyze every time it hits, so it's always added pressure to your opponent to have to block that attack. I run 2 of the put and play pitch drawer. It's the only one they have. There's not... you could justify running a couple more since just the lack of draw that this deck has. But I just run 2. The only other grade 1s that could be switched in would be your Phantom Black, which promotes smoking and in a children's card game is not welcome at all. Just kidding. He's an 8k vanilla. He's good behind Papilio because he hits that 16. Not bad, but just not machining, which you need a lot of special machining counterblasts and whatnot. The other one is Machining Mosquito. It soul charges when it's put in play. You do a fair amount of soul blasting in this deck, but not so much to really justify that unit. And then on to perfects / quintets. I run 3 Paralyzed Madonna, the older Perfect Guard, and 1 Machining Ladybug for quintet. The deck, it doesn't draw enough to really support 4, but it also doesn't unflip. It's very counterblast heavy, so you can't run either of these at 4 of, really. And since your triggers are mostly 10k triggers, depending on your lineup, I guess the quintet walls are pretty good. But it's an under-supported deck, so you're going to win on average 1 out of 3 matches. On to triggers. Standard 4 machining heals. That's kind of it there. His deck runs 8 criticals, not by choice, but just kind of by necessity, 4 of which are machining. The other 4 are Scorpion from an older set. The problem is the deck has only 4 draws in its entire, time of being a deck. I guess they've only thought it's, unless there's draws I don't know about, but I'm pretty sure they only have 4. So it kind of limits your deck. They did drop a nifty machining stand trigger in this set. It allows you to run up to 16 of this copy. Now, I've never tried it just because stand triggers aren't that meta. They're not that effective, and a lot of your columns are kind of weak anyway. But maybe that's kind of the pressure of Mega Colony, multiple attacks, keep your units down unboosted, So, aside from that, I kind of skipped a grade 3. I forgot I could show you. Machining Hercules Beetle, he takes 2 counterblasts, and he gains 10k and goes critical. As long as everything's at rest on your opponent's side of the field. He was kind of the beater that you would run before your machining, War Sickle came out. But again, you're kind of set with your grade 3s at, Tarantula. I would say 4 and 4. A couple break rides don't hurt. That's kind of it. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and tell us what you think. Like us, subscribe us, and we'll try to post up more videos.